and welcome to Loppy Loves. If you haven't been here before, my name is Lauren and on this channel I talk about my life as an immigrant living in Iceland. In today's video I wanted to talk about how to survive an Icelandic winter. And how this video came about is basically I've been stuck at home for over a week with COVID, and because of that we kind of inadvertently began our preparations for the winter. So that's how we got here today. So I am still, I do still have an active infection. I've currently had it, my boyfriend has had it for 8 days so far and I have had it for 5 days, but my test this morning is still showing a strong positive line. It's not fading. Last time I had it a few months ago, it was gone within 6 days. On day 6 it was a really faint line and then it was gone the next day. This isn't fading and my boyfriend's test has been fading for a few days and we're still there this morning. It just seems really persistent. The symptoms aren't as bad this time as last time I had it, but still not pleasant. And we've both been at home for such a long time. I've been home for 8 days now and he's been home for 9 days, and it's a little bit frustrating being stuck inside an apartment for all that time. We've gone out for like drives, you know, but just us in the car with our masks and just locally, but not getting out of the car, you know. But it is a bit frustrating. And this came at the worst timing possible because so my boyfriend has been off work since last Wednesday. Today's Thursday, so it's been just over a week. He tested positive on Thursday. I was feeling ill, and because he tested positive I took time off work because I was getting symptoms. So I had Thursday and Friday off work. The tests were coming back negative for me, and even on Saturday my test was negative. We each took a test on Sunday to see if he could go back to work and just to make sure that I was free of COVID. My mum texted me to say that she booked a last minute flight on Sunday to come and visit today, and then an hour later my test came back positive for COVID, and I still have COVID. We thought that he wouldn't have COVID anymore, but he still does today. Very faint line, but it's still there. Luckily we live next door to a guest house, so my mum is staying there, and we had a nice socially distanced chat in the garden, because we're lucky enough to have a garden, earlier, with masks. It was a very weird experience that she's come 1,000 miles for like a socially distanced chat in the garden, and we can't go out, we can't do anything because I can't go out, I'm in isolation. So yeah, let's get into today's video. So these are my tips after a few years living in Iceland. But this is my 6th winter in Iceland, which is crazy. Is it 6 or is it 5? I think it's 6. And so these are the tips that these are the things that I do now to help me get through an Icelandic winter. Sorry, my hair is a mess. I haven't done anything with it for over a week. Yeah, so let's get into it. The first thing that I would say is make sure you are taking your vitamins. You should start this before the winter. Ideally start it like towards the end of summer. If you're not taking them all year, you should be taking them all year. But if you just want to take them for the winter, make sure you start before. I am really bad at this here. So this is my vegan omega. You need to take vitamin D and omega supplements because this does make a big difference. I realised on my 3rd winter I felt a lot better with the omega supplements. I take these once or twice a week so I forget. And vitamin D, I used to take vitamin D in the UK all year round. I didn't have a problem. I would take them every day. Come to Iceland, I never remember to take them. I don't know what it is. I just never remember to take my vitamin D. My mum always brings us some stuff from the UK when she comes, and in the bag of stuff that she gave me earlier, she actually brought me some vitamin D, which this morning I was thinking I really need to buy some because I keep forgetting. These are extra strength vitamin D tablets and there's 3 months supply in there, so that was perfect because literally this morning I was thinking I need to buy some, but obviously I can't go to the pharmacy. Sorry if you can hear banging. My neighbours in the next apartment are doing some construction work. Okay, my next tip is to get outside during the daylight hours as much as you can. So Iceland is quite similar to the UK, and I'm sure quite similar to a lot of northern countries, in that in the winter you have a tendency to go to work in darkness and come home in darkness, and all of the daylight hours you are in work and stuck inside. So when you get the chance to go outside in daylight hours, do it as much as possible, especially on the weekends. And here in Iceland, I think in December we have a day or a couple of days where we go down to 4 hours of daylight. Luckily we're not in a country where it's complete darkness. We don't have 24 hours of darkness in the winter, like many tourists have asked me and believe. That's not true here. It goes down to like maybe 4 hours is the shortest day, I think. But yeah, try and get out when you can. Just get that little bit of daylight where possible. Just spend time outside in nature. Just go for a little drive, go for a little road trip when you can. My next tip is something that I am doing this year because I haven't been very good at doing it in the last few years, but you really need some hobbies, like really badly. A lot of people learn to knit. I learned to knit when I moved to Iceland. I've also learned to crochet. I don't do it as much, and I kind of want like things that are going to be very rewarding for me, and that I can complete fairly quickly. So this year I actually thought ahead. I ordered a lot of second-hand craft kits on eBay a few months ago, and I've been picking them up when I visit the UK, and my mum actually brought one that I forgot I'd ordered today. So I did start making a pillow, which is a little pillow embroidery like quilting kit from the 70s, I think, that had been unopened. I think I actually have the needle still. It came with like the needle had rusted in the packet. It was like unopened, because of just how old it was, I guess. But I've started doing that in the evenings when I feel like I need something to do and I don't want to watch a screen, because you can only watch Netflix for so long. And then I also got this on eBay that my mum bought today, which is like a giant canvas paint by numbers to make this 4-season tree scene. And then last month I just put a massive order on with Hobbycraft in the UK, which ships to Iceland. I was very pleasantly surprised to know. So this is a kid's scratch art book with unicorns. And it's like you have the pictures and you have this little scratch pen, and it comes in like rainbow colours when you scratch. I just thought that was quite fun, and there's quite a few different pictures in there to do, so if I get bored enough I can do that. I got 3 of these scratch foil art. So I got a dinosaur that I've already started, a wolf and a panda. What else? I've got another paint by numbers which I haven't started yet, and that's a unicorn. It's quite big. I think there's a theme going on here. I've got a little unicorn cross stitch to do a little miniature one. Another miniature cross stitch, it's a camper van. And finally a little mosaic tile to make, but I need a mosaic cutter to make this. I didn't realise after I bought it, but I'll get one. So yeah, it's very important to have things to do. It doesn't have to be like a craft kit like this, but just some kind of hobby that's going to keep you going through the winter, because you'll be stuck inside a lot and it gets really boring when you don't have anything to do. Because looking at a screen can get really boring. If you have a lot of books, that's good, but sometimes I get a little bit bored of just reading non-stop. I love reading. I really love reading, but sometimes I find it hard to get into a book as well. So these little mindless activities that I can do and are like quite quickly rewarding. I just realised I do have another kit that I can't find actually. It's a little felt. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's a little felting kit to make some little sloths. I've wanted to try felting for years, so I was really happy to get this little kit. Yeah, and so these hobbies, picking up some new hobbies as well is always a good thing. I like painting anyway, but these paint by numbers will help me get into it when I don't feel inspired. So that's something I'm doing this year, something new I'm doing. This is because last year in the winter I realised that I wanted to plan ahead this year to get stuff to do in the evenings, because it can really get to you sometimes. Probably one of the most important things I would say is that you really need to make your home cosy, and that is what we have been doing with our time off this week because we can't leave the apartment. We have 5 rooms in our apartment and we have deep cleaned and organised 4 of them this week and made it super cosy, super nice, and a really nice relaxing atmosphere to be in, and a place where we really want to spend time, because we're always so busy with work and we have other commitments outside of work. Neither of us have been able to properly organise the apartment the way that we want it. So one of the plus sides of having COVID and being home for over a week is that we've had time to actually do everything and organise. But yeah, just make sure you have a lot of like fairy lights like I have here. You need a lot of candles around, I think. And even if you don't want real candles, because not everyone likes them, at least like, you know, the artificial like flickering candles, because they're really cosy. Just have good lighting in general. And make sure you have lots of plants around, lots of greenery. Actually, my light that I use for filming has run out of battery because I forgot to charge it. So what I'm being lit up with at the moment is one of my plant lights, one of my grow lights. I've got a couple of them, and I quite like this lighting. I think it's nice actually. Yeah, so just make sure you have something around that's going to make you feel really nice and cosy, and especially like blankets like this. Have lots of blankets around. I have so many. You just need a really cosy, nice environment that you're going to want to spend the winter in, and you're going to want to come home to, because if you really hate the space that you're living in, the winter is really going to get to you badly because you're going to be home a lot. If possible, try to get abroad. And in fact, quite a lot of the foreigners that I know will say that this is the only thing that helps them, is going abroad to a hot country during the winter. I personally have never done this. I generally only go to the UK when I go abroad. Hopefully that will be changing next year. I have been to Russia once since I came to Iceland back in 2018, but that was in the summer. And yeah, that's the only time I've been abroad that wasn't the UK since I came to Iceland. But a lot of people swear by going to Spain or going to some other hot country, even for a few days, just to get a bit of vitamin D, to get a bit of light, and yeah, just get out of the dark, dreary, cold winter weather. This next one is a tip that also was in my homesickness video, so you should go and watch that if you haven't already. And that is to make plans to look forward to. The winter can sometimes feel like it is endless, because it is so long here. But if you have plans that you can look forward to in the spring or the summer or even in the winter, just keep making plans, and you'll always have something to look forward to. You'll always have like I don't want to say a target to reach, but you know that you just have to get to that point, and then you've got something really exciting, then make another plan after that, and then, you know, you've got to just make it to that point. And it really helps keep you going throughout this winter. Make sure you have really good winter clothes. Might seem obvious, but yeah, it's good to plan ahead and make sure you have them. So you definitely need a warm winter coat. That is like a big, like, absolute need it. I currently have 4. I was planning to give away one of them, but I've decided to keep it for a little bit longer. So yeah, make sure you've got at least a really thick, nice, warm winter coat. Have some winter boots. I mean, not everyone has them. Quite a lot of Icelanders I know actually don't own winter boots, but I would recommend it highly. Even if you just had some Timberlands, but personally I prefer to have like proper snow boots. The ones that I currently have, I got secondhand years ago. I think it was around about my 21st birthday. I found some secondhand that I never wore in the UK really, because the weather was never right, but they came useful when I moved to Iceland. So yeah, they're kind of wearing out now because they're quite old and I wear them a lot. But yeah, good shoes. Make sure you have layers. I don't necessarily think you need thermals. It depends what you're doing and where you live. If you live in the city, I don't think thermals are really necessary. And even here in Selfoss, I don't really wear thermals. I do have some. It's probably not even once a year that I use them, honestly. It's just if I'm going somewhere in the middle of nowhere in the winter. If the weather's really cold, then I might wear them. But normally if I want an extra layer of clothing, I'll just put on some regular leggings under my trousers and just a shirt with a jumper over the top. and then a coat. Make sure you have a hat, glove, scarves, you know, just regular stuff. And I would recommend getting some crampons. I didn't have any for the first few years living here, and I actually don't know where mine are at the moment. I have like 4 pairs, I don't know where any of them are. That's what moving house so many times does. But crampons are like the spikes that you can clip on to your shoes to help you walk when it's really slippy and icy outside. I would recommend them because when the ice is on the pavement it gets really slippy. I have fallen over. I really messed up my knee a few years ago. It still hurts sometimes from falling on the ice, so I'd recommend those. And finally, my tip is to exercise. It's really important. It helps keep your energy levels up. I've had a few winters where I didn't really exercise because I was never super into it, and the winter that I started exercising, I noticed a huge difference in my mood. So you don't have to go to the gym, you can exercise at home, you can just make sure you're going for regular walks, but just make sure that you're getting some exercise and it will really make a big difference. Okay, so those were my tips for getting through an Icelandic winter. I hope you liked it. Let me know if you have any other tips, if you live in a cold climate as well, what tips you would recommend to make it through the winter. And yeah, let me know what you thought of my tips. And I just wanted to say thank you for helping me to reach 100 subscribers. I think as I'm filming this, we're actually at 119, so we've actually gone up quite a lot in the last couple of weeks. I am just really, really flattered that you all want to follow this journey. It means a lot to me. I didn't really ever think that I would get to 100 because this channel was just started to update my friends and family in the UK. And yeah, it's just grown into this now and I find it amazing. I am actually planning to do a Q&A video at some point in the future, so if you have any questions for me, it can be about Iceland or it just can be anything you want to ask me really. It's not limited to a topic. Let me know in the comments below. And I also just wanted to let you know that I have set up a coffee page if you want to buy me a coffee, because I have a lot of you messaging me through my Instagram and through Facebook asking for tips about moving to Iceland or travel tips, and I love hearing from you all, and you can all continue to message me. I love it. I don't see a problem with that at all. I really like getting your messages actually, and I really like hearing that my videos have helped you. So if you want to buy me a coffee, I think the cheapest one is $3 or £3, I can't remember what currency it's in. I'll leave the link to that. Absolutely don't feel obliged to do that. You can still ask me and don't buy me a coffee, that's fine. It's just because some of you have said before that you'd like to thank me in some way. So yeah, if you buy me a coffee, that would be lovely, but don't feel like you have to, especially in this economic climate. So yeah. Please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, share this with your friends, leave a comment below, all of that stuff. And have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!